We've already seen two flagships that are upcoming in the Indian market, the Xiaomi 14 Pro, which is co-branded with Leica for their cameras, and the OnePlus 12, which has a partnership with Hasselblad for its cameras, and it's had that for a few years now. But there is one more competitor that is yet to make its mark, and that is the new Vivo X100 Pro, and this has a partnership with Zeiss for the cameras. Are these partnerships making any difference as far as sales or actual usability of these phones? We're not too sure about that, but the cameras are definitely getting a lot of notice. And in this video, we're going to check out the new X100 and tell you what its features are and how we think we like this device, especially with its strangely orange vegan leather back cover. So let's quickly get started. So this color, whether you like it or not, is called the Sunset Orange. This has a vegan leather back panel over here. But if it wasn't this orange color, the material and the finish is quite nice and it feels rather comfortable in the hand. This phone has a really nice build quality as well. It's IP68 rated. You have an aluminium frame with glass front as well as a glass back if you don't get this vegan leather finish. You do have two other color options, which is Asteroid Black and a Star Trail Blue. Which are both going to be in glass, and this one, the Sunset Orange, is going to be in this leather option. You do get a case inside the box to protect this device a little bit better. The glass on the front and the glass on the back are unspecified as of now, but we should get more details when they do launch this device in India, and hopefully it is Gorilla Glass or something equivalent. The phone is nicely rounded off and the edges of the display do go into the sides, so you do get almost a waterfall-esque display on both sides, which looks nice. You do have a little bit of a forehead and a little bit of a chin, and you do have the main front camera in a punch hole setting over there. Overall, pretty nice and symmetrical front, not too bad at all, although the chin and the forehead are bigger than the side bezels, which is a little bit annoying if you look at it. The display is curved on the sides, it looks premium, and the overall look and feel of the device is pretty nice. The display is a 6.78-inch AMOLED display. It has a 2800 by 1260 pixel resolution, and of course it is up to 120 Hz of refresh rate, and this is variable refresh rate. You also get 3000 nits of peak brightness on this device. It is a really nice display in terms of colors. You get 100% coverage of the DCI P3 color gamut as well, and overall it has good color saturations, and because of the 3000 nits of peak brightness, it does have great visibility both indoors as well as outdoors. The fingerprint of the phone also sits in the front display, and as you can see, it's quite snappy. It quickly unlocks. You can register multiple fingerprints in there, so that way it is pretty similar to many of the other devices. If you do have wet hands, the fingerprint sensor might be a little bit of a problem, but then you can always use your passcode if that's something that you need to do. Ours is our super secure one. Anyway. Running everything is the Dimensity 9300. Now it's different from the other two phones because they run a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. This is running Dimensity 9300, although it does differ in terms of its branding. Dimensity chips are no slouches and they can hold their own, although Snapdragon of course is more well known. In this scenario you get the 9300, and of course you do get RAM options where you can also add up to 16GB. Virtually we've done that. We have a 16GB plus 512GB variant, and you can add up to 16GB with the storage, which in our case is 512, but you can get up to 1TB of storage, and this is UFS 4.0 storage, so you do get that fast storage that also gets converted into the fast RAM as well. Now this device holds up its own in day-to-day performance. It doesn't seem to slow down whatsoever. You can of course turn on the faster refresh rate and tweak the settings from the settings panel of course to get you the best performance. This phone can also handle gaming quite well, and the speakers are nice and loud. Touch response on the device is also great, and it doesn't seem to heat up with a little bit of use that we did get, but we will be testing it extensively to give you a better opinion of how this device feels. As far as cameras are concerned, we've got 350 megapixel cameras on the back over here, and they are tuned by Zeiss, of course. One is a main with a 1.75 aperture, while you do have a telephoto and an ultra wide. Both or all three of those are 50 megapixel. As far as the camera app is concerned, it seems a lot more improved, and you can see that there's a Zeiss setting right over here, and you can choose the Zeiss mode if you want that. There's also a really cool effect that they've added in the extra camera apps. So if you're clicking pictures of landscape or architecture, you can go in here, and then you also have a miniature effect or what is called a small world effect, you can turn that on as well. So those features are cool. You also do have video capability at up to 4K 60 FPS, or if you want to go up to 8K at 30 FPS that you can see over here. And then the front camera can also shoot at 32 megapixels. And the front camera also does have 1080p at 60 FPS, so you can go up to 60 FPS, but no 4K, which is surprising for a device that's going to be mainly selfie or front camera focused and also camera focused. There's no 4K on the front camera, which is a little bit of a letdown. Images from this camera are really good, especially if you go into the Zeiss mode. Of course, there are Zeiss lenses on the cameras, but you do see optimization done by Zeiss in the end product as well, and that does reflect through. Some of the colors and contrast are really sharp, and even images from the front camera come out really nice. If you don't turn on all of those effects, just keep them off, you get a really nice and natural looking photograph, which is good. I would have liked the improvement in the video quality. You do have an ultra stabilized mode, but that does require you to dumb down to 1080 60. But in 4K 60, you do get a little bit of stabilization, which is good enough for capturing video on the go. As far as connectivity is concerned, this, just like the Xiaomi, has Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4, which is great as far as connectivity is concerned. You also do get a dual SIM slot in there, or you can use one eSIM and a physical SIM as well. As far as the user interface is concerned, I am not the happiest with this UI. And you can see that it is similar to many of the other devices, and you do get frequent updates, as we have one over here as well. They call it Origin OS 4, but there's a lot of bloatware. It's not the cleanest, it's not the easiest to use or look at. I would consider swapping it out for some other UI, but off the bat, not a lot of good features or not a lot of improvements as far as visually. It is not the greatest user interface. In fact, this phone would work really well with a stock or a stock-like user interface, and I wish they gave that option at the time of purchase of this device. You'll have a lot of bloatware on the device, which you'll need to get rid of. So as far as battery is concerned, this phone does support 100 watts of charging. A 100-watt adapter is included in the box, and it charges up the phone quite quickly. You can also use 50 watts of flash wireless charging. That's Vivo's own protocol. So you have to get the Vivo flash wireless charger for that. And so this device can then do 50 watts of wireless charging, and it can also do reverse wireless charging. So if you have earphones or maybe another phone that needs an emergency charge, you can do that. The port at the bottom is a 3.2 Gen 1, which is great. Again, if you want to do fast data transfers, but this can also charge up other devices as well if that's what you're looking for. Overall, this is a pretty good phone with good quality speakers, a really nice display. We're pretty happy with the phone. It looks okay if it didn't have this orange color. I really like the texture and the materials used. I also like the camera layout a little bit better than what I saw on the OnePlus phone, but the UI needs a lot of improvement and performance stays behind a little bit, and so does the display in terms of resolution from the competition in the market. And if it did have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and if it did have a slightly higher resolution display, then this would have been a direct competitor to the other two options that we are going to do a full comparison with in our coming up videos. So stay tuned for that, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.